This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I am here at the Oxley in Toronto with sommelier Julie Garton. How are you today?
Well, thanks. How are you?
Fantastic. Now we are here today to speak about Ontario's Best Sommelier competition and how someone like yourself, a competitor, goes about preparing for such a challenge.
Okay, so I look at the Best Somm in Ontario comp, very similar to prepping for a big exam, a big wine exam. You're responsible for high level of theory, blind tasting, and then there's service demonstrations that you have to run through as well. So theory is really something that I think somms really have to work at a lot on their own. If you're fortunate to have a study group or someone you can do flashcards with, that's always great, but it does require a lot of mental discipline just to force yourself to get the books open, a lot of reading, a lot of note-taking.
Are you a good book student yourself?
I've trained myself, yeah,
right.
in prepping for the Corda Master Sommelier Advanced. I had to do a really regimented study schedule for about 10 months. I had objectives every week, region-to-region breakdown. So I would just go through it, focusing on the major things you need to look at, your appellations, your classifications, the grapes that come in that region, producers, key vintages, climatic factors.
And how do you make the flashcards work for you?
I use a really great online site, which you can just build your own flashcards into. And then just kind of when you have time, if you're on the transit to work or whatnot, you can sit there and just flip through flashcards. It's not the best way to learn, really. You have to really understand the region, but it's a good way to just help, I think, with the memory by going through flashcards, just to reinforce what you've already been working at.
And as for the blind tasting, which is always one of the most fun parts of it, how do you go about training for that part of the competition?
Yeah, so I'm fortunate I have a fantastic group of somms in the city that we do blind tasting groups. So we meet right now every other week we're meeting, and everyone's responsible at this point for bringing sort of, we would say, testable varietals. So noble grapes from noble regions.
So no curveballs, really?
We haven't been practicing with curveballs, but for a competition format, we probably should, because really in this situation, anything goes. So it's a little bit different than an exam in that respect. But yeah, we have a grid that we follow that highlights, going through the visual and the aromatic and the palate of the wine and drawing conclusions. So a lot of practice that way. You can do it one-on-one as well. I like getting wines that are easily confused. So Albarino, Gruner Veltliner, Chablis, sort of neutral mineral wines. And literally just get yourself 3 bottles, kind of sticker the bottom of a glass, pour them out, mix them around, and then just trying to look for that marker within the wine. But yeah, as far as sort of blind tasting goes, I find that good to do in a group setting with other people. You always learn from other people. They have different notes and they perceive wines a bit differently as well. Now
you work in the industry, so the service aspect of it is something that you're basically working with on a daily basis. But how do you prep for that? What would you say the best way was to prep for the service component of the competition?
Yeah, service is I think it's, in some respects, it's the hard part.
Really?
It's the nerve-wracking part. When you're up there, if you're fortunate to make it to the top 3, you're going to go up and you're going to go through these tables, and you've got all of your peers there. It's an open audience watching you. It's, quite frankly, terrifying, I think. So, I mean, it's very easy to walk around tables here and practice your opening, but I think when you get in competitions like that on the spot, it's different. It's like it's not like you're given a menu in advance and you know the food. Here, I know my wine list inside and out. I know our menu inside and out. So it's just like innate. You don't have to think that much about it. But when you're there, really, you don't know what they're going to be throwing at you. So I find that really, as far as service goes, it's almost a mental thing. And how you prep yourself for that, because the nerves really can get the better of you, and I know from experience.
When it comes to a competition like this, where do your strengths lie, and where do you believe your kind of weaker areas to be?
For me, I think one of my strengths is my tasting abilities. I feel pretty confident with that, knowing the grid, so that's good. I think just with the amount of work I've put in the last year in theory, it should be pretty good. I'm putting a lot of work the next couple of weeks in on Canada, because I know being the best somm in Ontario, you do have to know the region that you're representing. But yeah, I think for me, the area that I think will be the challenge, and that I do all the time, will come down to how you handle yourself if you make it to that service demonstration.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
So if you could give a succinct piece of advice to anybody else who was going forward for one of these competitions, what would it be?
My advice is have fun. Like, these are out there for you. Like, put yourself out there. There's not, like, this is the Olympics of wine sommelier dumb, I guess, right? That only happens once every 3 years ago that they did this. So it's just great to put yourself out there and get an experience. Like, at the end of the day, it's a competition. So try not to put so much pressure on yourself, because I think just going through the process of it maybe makes you a little bit better at your job on a day-to-day basis.
Julie Garton, we wish you all the very best of luck with this upcoming competition, and thank you very much for joining us today at Good Food Revolution.
Thanks, Jamie.
Bye for now.
Bye.